I'm Aaron.
I'm Yeti.
And welcome to When Monsters Play Mega Man. Guys, thank you for watching the video here. We are going to play Mega Man, and we are playing it on the Mega Man Anniversary Edition for the PS2. We tried to do it on the PS1, and we had never played Mega Man 1 on the NES, and come to find out that the password system was not implemented until number 2. So luckily I had this in my collection, and we are going to play, attempt to play the first 6. For May, we'll probably get through maybe 3. Possibly.
Wishful thinking.
We're going to try to make it through 6. As Joe is going to start us off here. And again, the Mega Man Anniversary Edition was released in 2004. It was first released on the GameCube, starting off, and then it was later released on the PS2, which is what we're playing on here. The graphics have kind of been a little bit overhauled. They've brightened it up. It's not as washed out as the 8-bit version. And obviously, as you move on, you see the intro screen for the Anniversary Edition. It's pretty cool with the doors and stuff.
Mega Man's a little cross-eyed.
Mega Man is a little bit cross-eyed. That may be why this game is so hard. So we're going to start out. The order that we're going to go in is we're going to start with Bombman. Now we did look up the order that we're actually going to play. So because we started out the first time we started playing this, it didn't go so well. To be quite honest. So we are going to start out with Bombman. And again, the game, if you never played a Mega Man game before, and I'm sure some of you watching it, never have. The character's kind of been stuck in limbo with Capcom. They haven't really done anything. He has been introduced to appear in Smash Brothers, Wii U Smash Brothers, or whatever they're gonna call it. But other than that, character's been kind of quiet. He's had some releases on the DS, a couple on the Game Boy Advance. He had the extreme versions put through on the Game Boy Advance, and he had some DS titles that were all messed up. They weren't really the extreme stuff was, I think, remakes of a couple of the original NES titles. But the ones that was released on the DS was completely different. They were basically just new kind of offshoots. Not bad by any stretch, I don't think, but nothing like in the proper Mega Man universe, or the Mega Man X universe for that matter, that came out on the Super Nintendo. So he's been kind of in limbo. I myself am a huge Mega Man fan. Joe played in. I guess we started with Mega Man 2. And then we played the first iteration of this one on the Game Boy. But there's only 4 Robot Masters instead of 6 that they have on here now. So we've never played the proper NES version of this up until now. We've played pretty much all of them. I know I've never played 5 or 6. So those are 2 that we never got to play on the NES, but we have played 2 through 4. Like I say, extremely difficult. Just a hard game to play. On the NES, you won't see it here, but on the NES there was a lot of lag issues, and this game was known for them just throwing enemies at you all over the place. And it's just difficult. On the NES, you would jump and it'd freeze on you because there would be so many enemies. On the screen. It was kind of difficult. But as a kid, you don't think about that stuff. You just kind of play. Now it's a bit frustrating to get through.
My finger got stuck on the button.
So it goes pretty good ways. There are checkpoints in this game. Even on the NES version, there was checkpoints in the game. So Joe got us to the first checkpoint. Actually, I think it's the only checkpoint, isn't it?
Yep. Halfway through the stages on checkpoints. Well, we should just keep running.
But that seems to, again, just the difficulty of the game. It's a very good platformer. I don't want people to think that we don't like it, because we definitely do. We're huge Mega Man fans.
Son of a gun!
Alright, so first game over. We'll see what we can do here. I'm going to try to, we're not going to play the whole game obviously on this clip. It's important how long this clip is. We may still put out our failures for these. We can't get them in a decent amount of time. Bear with us, this is our first time kind of doing a playthrough video. The capture device we're using is the Elgato HD. It can do obviously these here, and then also new games as well through the HDMI. It's a pretty neat little device. It actually shoots it through on the screen, so right now we're not necessarily playing on the computer, we're actually using the TV as a monitor, so we can play, see the bigger picture here. The Elgato seems to be the capture device of choice for a lot of people on YouTube. It's super easy to work with, not very hard to use at all. As I said before, it's the first time we played this version of Mega Man. There is a little bit of button difference on this one. Obviously it's a PlayStation controller, but you do have like a rapid shot with this one, which makes the game a little bit easier. Not much. I mean, it does help where you don't have to continually kind of fire on the just a single shot in them. This game, I'll tell you about this game because I'm not patient. You have to be super patient in this game. So we're going to go in this order. If you've ever played a Mega Man game, like I said before, there's probably some people that haven't. This game is basically you face the Robot Masters. You are an android made by, or I guess an android, I guess more of a robot than an android, but basically you're Dr. Light's creation, and Dr. Wily, which is the evil doctor on the other side, has created these robot masters that you have to defeat. This is Bombman. Now in number 2 you'll see that there's, and really through the rest of the game, number 2 all the way through at least 6, I think 9 and 10, that was released on the Xbox Arcade and the PlayStation Network, PlayStation Store. They will actually have 8. They will have 8 robot masters. Very difficult game, and as you see, it's just someone a lot of patience that has to be brought to play here. Now, as the game kind of going along, hopefully we'll see this if we never get by this one. Number 2 adds a lot of really cool features. I know, Joe, you love the upgrade screen on number 2. And you know, some of you guys, you've never played, if you've never encountered an NES, or that was a big deal back in the day. The animation was super good for an 8-bit as far as the upgrade screen, and these things are starting to get on my nerves.
If you can stop.
Look at that.
That
never happens.
2 in a row like that? No.
But the upgrade screen was really cool in the second one. Obviously the graphics were a little bit, actually they were about the same, a little bit brighter, a little bit more, probably a little bit more detail in the backgrounds and stuff, but the backgrounds were about the same. The gameplay was obviously the same, even though I don't think 2 was hard. I think it's probably, I think a lot of people like it because it is a little bit more friendly, or player friendly. I think 3 was ridiculously hard. And they really kind of upped the ante on that one, but anyway, there's an order you have to go through. The order is basically you defeat one boss to get the power that the other one are weak through. And and that's how you beat them. So there's a certain order, and then, you know, as a kid we didn't know what the order was. We didn't have Nintendo Power or anything like that to kind of, you know, coach us through. Now you have YouTube videos and GameFAQs.com and everything
The
else.
internet.
The internet does make gaming somewhat easier, at least when you get stuck. And there was a couple times where we got stuck because we didn't know what kind of order it was in. And if you don't do them in the right order, this game is even more difficult because the bosses, Bombman, we've actually made it to the end of this one when we was trying to when we was playing before, and even on a lot of the other ones. You know, there's always that one that is that's weak, and that's the one you have to start out with. And Bombman is the weakest one on here that you can actually just defeat with your Mega Buster, which is just your regular shot there. But if you don't go in order, your Mega Buster is pretty much useless. It takes them 20 shots, it takes you 40 to even get really kind of started with it.
Halfway.
Oh!
Patience.
Well, we got halfway. We got that extra man, so I think it's our last
Got
shot.
2 extra, man.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh.
No. For some reason, I thought 2 jobs. Two instruments. No, dad, jam it! I hate these stupid things.
Alright, we'll start again.
1,000th time.
So I'm sure there's some young whippersnappers thinking, oh, I could do this. We equate this to, this is kind of like Dark Souls as far as difficulty. I've never played Dark Souls, Joe has. I've heard the horror stories of how hard that game is. But, you know, to be quite honest, the NES in general, I mean, all their games are somewhat difficult. I mean, even the easy ones, when you think that would be super easy, are still kind of hard. A lot of it has to do with you can't save your game. You have to start over. I mean, this is just, you know, with no password. Luckily, we play on the PS1, so we can save our progress. We probably would never do this. But
We would start with number 2.
yeah, we start with number 2, which we discussed until I remember that I had this. Number 2 actually started with a password system, which a lot of the NES games after a while did have that, where if you got to a certain stage, you would go to the password screen and put the password in after you finish the stage or whatever it may be, and or if you died, a lot of them showed up after you died on a certain stage. You take down the password and you'd be able to continue your game from that level if you go to the password screen and put that in. With this one right here, on the Mega Man 1, like I said, it was not implemented, so we had to choose another way to do it here.
I wish we had a shield.
I think at one point, I think at number 2 or 3, don't you get a shield?
I don't know, I can't remember offhand.
I know number 2 adds his Rolf, his dog, Ruff, I think was the one. That would give you special abilities, such as like he'd come in, you could spring on high ledges and stuff by jumping on his back. There was one that was fly, which he would show up in. There was a couple of fly stages on Mega Man 2 that he would show up in. So, like I said, the character's kind of been in limbo. The last major release was on probably PS2, I'm guessing. It was probably the Mega Man X. Basically how it goes is 1 through 6 was on the NES. 7 was released on the Super Nintendo.
Why did you stop?
And, hey, hush. and then they started the Mega Man X series, which we may discuss a little bit later, but was basically kind of an upgraded version of the Mega Man series. Then you had 8 and 9 that were 9 and 10, or 8 that was released on PlayStation 1, which was the anniversary edition, which would have some animated cutscenes and some good stuff there. Actually, that was one of the ones that I had beaten. Just a good little side scroller. That side scroller was kind of.
I stopped playing with the joystick.
Was kind of dying off. There wasn't a lot of great side scrollers, and Mega Man Anniversary is probably one of the better games. It was a little bit easier. As far as compared to the NES games, and the Super NES games, don't matter. But to be quite honest, easy compared to these games. Really. Now we'll try again.
Yeah.
Just be prepared. We will die a lot on this game. We challenge you guys, if you guys can get a hold of this version of it, if you guys can get a hold of the original NES version of it, play along with us this month and tell us what you think, or where you're at in the game. Now, obviously, some of you guys are better video game players than us, so you guys.
I think Amazon has this version for like $15.
Okay, so Joe said Amazon had the Mega Man collection for $15. Now this hasn't been released on the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, as far as I know anyway, or like re-released. So you would have to get a PS2, or if you have a fat PS3 that is backwards compatible, you can get that game for that as well. Now I did hear that we was talking about the series here, of course, Mega Man 8 on the PS1, and then you had Mega Man 9 and 10 on the Xbox Live Arcade, and also the PlayStation Network was released not too
What
many,
was that?
Not too many years ago. They said that 10 was probably the hardest of the series. To be quite honest, a lot of people, they actually had to they actually not dumbed it down, but they made it a lot easier on number 9. I have no clue what they did.
Got stuck underneath that.
But they said 10 was probably, or was it 9? I think 9 was the hard one, and then they kind of had to dumb it down for 10 because people were kind of saying it was almost impossible to complete. But really, there hasn't really been a lot of activity for the Mega Man franchise. Like I said, he was just announced, well, not just announced, but about 2-3 months ago, he was announced as a character in the new Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U.
So you're gonna say Super Smash Brothers?
That too, it's a new game. But as far as, he had a lot of releases on the PlayStation 1. He had Mega Man Legends 1, which is probably if not the favorite game that I've played. Probably my favorite game of all time. He had Mega Man Legends 2. He had the Trombone series, which was a spin-off of that game as well. So he's had some. He had Mega Man X Command for the PlayStation 2, which was kind of a role-playing game in the X universe. So there was a lot of. There was a lot of different ways they tried to implement Mega Man, and then they just kind of quit. I think the PlayStation 2, they had, like I said, the X Command games, had a couple of the new X, I think X7 and 8 was on the PlayStation 2, and then they just kind of quit. We haven't heard. There was rumors of a first-person Mega Man game that was in development. Even there's some footage out there of it as well somewhere. I don't know if it's official footage, but I think Kotaku had reported that it was. It was official footage, and it was for basically is for Mega Man Maverick, or the Maverick series, which is kind of what I think. If somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I believe that's what the Mega Man X series was they were Mavericks, kind of like robot hunters for rogue robots. But they haven't really released anything yet. And for me, as a Mega Man fan, it's sad. I think he's still very viable. Whenever he shows up, people get excited. And hopefully with the Smash Brothers stuff, they'll start releasing some stuff. And maybe that's, maybe Nintendo's thing. Maybe Nintendo's trying to get Mega Man solely back on the Wii U, which would be a great thing to have. It'd be a heck of an exclusive to have again, if they could do that. We'll see what's in the store. I have a feeling Capcom's got something going. Of course, the creator Keiji Inafune, he had a little bit of a falling out with Capcom. He was put on as the research and development. He was head of the online business and global head for a while. And finally, I think he was trying to do some new IPs, trying to get some new stuff out there. And Capcom was just wanting to do sequels. And he ended up not wanting to do any more sequels. He didn't want to do. He wanted to do some new stuff along with those sequels, and he could never get the backing to do it. Now I don't know why Capcom wouldn't do it. I think they're in the business of making money, and not necessarily something that they possibly wanted to do. But as we approach now, this right here is a little bit different than what the Mega Man 2 is. Mega Man 2, you just kind of walked into it. You didn't have to go through maybe like a mini stage to get to the robot balls.
Dang it.
Now the good thing is we start right there at the gate, or we start inside the gate on this one. So this is a little bit different than the other one, but not too long to do.
The last man.
It's always that one works.
Because you're invisible always. I think you can shoot the bombs out of there. But it don't really matter. Yeah, Bomberman or Bombman.
You're done, Bombman.
About time. Your stage was difficult, but you were weak.
Alright, and that will do it for Bombman. I think we'll try to do this with robots, maybe when we get a little bit better. Maybe we could do one or two a clip, but so welcome. That's the first episode. Just to possibly what is next. Our next guy will be once the auto save's done here. Will be Gutsman. That will be the next installment of When Monsters Play, and that's it. So for the first episode, When Monsters Play, Mega Man, Bombman down.
Bomberman down.
Next up, Gutsman. Thanks for watching.